We had another game 7 on Saturday, Dan, between the Nuggets and the Clippers. This game I thought would be awesome. It was not awesome from a neutral standpoint. 120-101 Denver win over the Clippers on Saturday. Not even a competitive game. I left halfway through the second half to go to my friend's birthday party. It was 30 points, I think, when I walked out the door. When I was there, I saw 33 on the TV or something like that. And yeah, it just wasn't a fun, competitive, close game down the stretch like I was hoping for. And I find it interesting because everybody today, Sunday, has been talking about Harden, the choker. And that's fair because last 5 final games of the seasons for him. Last night on Saturday against the Nuggets, 7 points on 2 of 8. Last year against Denver, 16 points on 5 of 16. 23 Philly versus Boston, 9 points on 3 of 11. 22 Philly against Miami, 11 points on 4 of 9. Way back in 2021, Nets versus Bucks, 22 points on 5 of 17. He's been inefficient. He's been low volume as a scorer. He hasn't showed up in their final games of the season the last 5 years, and that's like those nightmare performances for Harden. They've only strengthened the argument for the people who, understandably so, always said Harden was a choker, whether it was him in college at Arizona State, earlier in his career at OKC, or even at his peak against Houston. I was always somebody who looked the highs of Harden. 35 points, 12 of 23 in a must-win game against the Warriors in 2016. The fact he averaged 35, 7, and 6 against the Warriors in 2019 and had 35 points on 25 shots in that final game 6. Harden had some highs as well in his prime, but he's undeniably been bad the last 5 years in these must-win games, and James Harden deserves criticism. But I feel like the Harden criticism, he's such an easy target. It's shielding criticism from Kawhi Leonard, who on the surface had a solid series. His points in each game, 22 points, 39, 22, 21, 24, 20, 27, 22. Consistently good? Yes. Good as a finisher, but consistently great as a creator? No. And that's exactly what the Clippers needed. In the series, Kawhi was only 11 of 25 out of isolations, only 6 of 14 out of pick and rolls. He wasn't generating offense at all in this series when that's what they needed. Aaron Gordon locked them up. Aaron Gordon, when he defended Kawhi in the series for 248 possessions, Kawhi only had 39 shots. Just to compare that to somebody else, when Kawhi's on Jamal Murray, 65 possessions, he had 32 shots. So Kawhi was being aggressive against others in the series, passive against Aaron Gordon, which is in part a credit to Gordon, but it's also a criticism of Kawhi for not stepping up in 6 of these 7 games. And my fear, Dan, is maybe Kawhi just doesn't have it anymore. Maybe he doesn't have it anymore, and he can't tap into that every single game anymore, which is quite clear with Harden, but it's also becoming clear, I'd say, with Kawhi Leonard. And that's the big fear from a Clippers standpoint following this series, where maybe these guys just can't even get to that level on a consistent basis anymore at all. And if that's the case, it's over. It's over for the Clippers.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I do feel like James Harden is getting a brunt of this because of his history of collapsing in game 7s. For his career, per Nate Duncan, he's shooting 35% in game 7s. That would be the lowest since the NBA-ABA merger, with a minimum of 100 attempts. So, yeah, he deserves some of the blame. Kawhi Leonard also does. While he had a 63% true shooting percentage in the series, averaging 25 points, he just didn't do enough to make a true impact. And I think the Nuggets just played with more effort. The rotations and the depth wasn't working well for Ty Lue. And I had the Clippers winning this series, and I thought it actually still could have went that way if that Aaron Gordon dunk didn't change the whole entire momentum and state of that series. So looking forward, it's like
that was classic bad luck for the Clippers. That moment,
that pretty much ended the series. Let's be honest. So
yeah. Bad luck, bad performances. Classic Clippers.
But yeah, that's just Clippers being Clippers. And at this point, if you look at their draft capital, it's not great. if you look at their salaries and the money devoted to injury prone players that don't have consistency in the playoffs, it's not looking good. Norm Powell only averaged 16 points in this series. He was averaging over 20 in the course of the season. The only shining shot or bright spot that you can say consistently throughout this year was probably Ivica Zubac. But at this point, I just don't know where you can rely and trust on the Clippers, Kawhi and Leonard being healthy for not even a majority of the season, but this is the healthiest we've seen him in a while. What's going to happen next year? Is he only going to play 30 games? Can he sustain this? This was the window of opportunity, and I feel like they blew it. And maybe that was because of Aaron Gordon's amazing defense, James Harden kind of collapsing as the series wore on. But I think it just is it's just the Clippers being Clippers, man. I just don't know how they can get out of this. And it sucks for Clippers fans, but I think that at least looking forward, it's can you trust Kawhi Leonard to be healthy? And I just don't know that we can.
No, you can't. I mean, it sucks, man. It does suck because I saw some stuff on my timeline today about, well, it's time for the Clippers to blow it up. It's but you don't have any of your picks until 2030. What are you actually going to get for old man Kawhi Leonard, old man James Harden? The demand for them is not going to be that great. And also if Harden were to opt in or if Kawhi were on the trading block, they could throw a hissy fit and steer their way to certain destinations, ruining your leverage to even hurt the return even more. And again, you don't have your own picks until 2030. The Thunder have your picks in 25, 26, and 27. The Sixers have your picks in 28 and 29. You're just screwed when it comes to that. And
that low key should have been the motivation for the Clippers to win this series. It's this is your opportunity to get your lick back against the Thunder, who just own you for the next, 4 or 5 years. Legitimately, all of your picks are going there from the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trade. Man, that would have been sweet redemption if you at least challenged them. And I thought that they could have. I thought they had the depth and the makeup to do it. But I mean, Joker and the rest of the role players said otherwise, and here we are.